Today, let's take a deep dive on my new Nova Orion 18-inch DVR lathe. We'll hit all the specs and features, tell you what I like and what I don't like, as well as take a look at performance while doing some turning. Additionally, I'll share my process on how I decided on this particular lathe versus others based on my current needs and limitations, so hopefully you can think through and find a lathe that will work best for you now and in the future. So, a little housekeeping first. This is not a sponsored video. I paid for this with my own money and ordered through CPO outlets. If you've never been to their site, I highly suggest checking there for new and refurbished machines and tools. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm not affiliated with them or Technitool, but I believe in transparency and telling others when I've found a product or service worth supporting. I've bought and used Nova chucks and accessories for years. They have never let me down in their performance, service, or support. This was my first big purchase through CPO outlets, and at the time it was about $200 less than all other sites that I had looked at for a brand new machine and had nearly free freight shipping. I only paid about $60 for liftgate service for a residential delivery. If I didn't need liftgate service, shipping would have been totally free. It pays to shop around. Anyways, let's dig into the newest DVR lathe offering from Technitool, the Nova Orion. As the name implies, the Nova Orion has an 18-inch swing over the bed with a 360-degree swivel head that has detents at -45, 0, 22.5, 45, 90, and 180 degrees. The head is fixed at one end of the lathe and does not slide. You use the included knockout bar to lock and unlock the headstock, turn the lever underneath to allow it to rotate. In the States, it comes with 3 20-inch bed sections, while in the rest of the world it only comes with 2. This gives me a distance between centers of 22 inches in the standard configuration and 44 inches with the extra segment. Like most other DVR lathes, you can turn outboard up to 29 inches with an outrigger assembly. However, the outrigger for the Orion is not out yet, and the outriggers for their other lathes do not work with this model. I was told by Technitool customer service that they expect it to be released in the fall of 2020, possibly in September. We'll come back to the outboard turning piece in a bit. Standard for a lathe of this size, it comes with a 1 1/4 by 8 TPI spindle in most areas with the exception of Europe, which comes with the M33 spindle. Morse taper is a standard MT2, and the headstock comes equipped with a spindle lock and 24 position indexing. The headstock also houses a dual voltage DVR motor and comes pre-wired in the States for 110 volts and puts out 1.75 horsepower. When wired for 220, it bumps your horsepower rating up to 2 horsepower. The Orion also features a twist lock emergency stop button not found on previous models and is compatible with their current wireless remote. The headstock itself is nicely sized with a slope nose to allow more access to your turning near the headstock. It has 4 F buttons that you can program for up to 8 favorite speeds or other functions like increasing or decreasing the set speed by 5 to 500 RPM at the touch of a button. Since it is a DVR motor, there are no belts to change. Speed is adjustable from 100 to 5,000 RPMs in 5 RPM increments by turning the knob, or if you press the knob and turn it, it will more rapidly increase or decrease speed accordingly. When researching this lathe prior to purchasing, it seemed that otherwise satisfied owners of Nova lathes complained about the feel of the blister buttons. The buttons on the Orion have a satisfying click when pressed and seem solidly made, but I guess time will tell. It does take some getting used to coming from a Reeves drive lathe, but I expected as much. Some users have taken to ordering braille stickers to put over the buttons so you can find the button you want by feel. I haven't found it necessary as of yet, but we'll see. The tailstock has 3 inches of travel and has etched measurements on the tailstock shaft. It is a self-ejecting tailstock, which is a huge improvement for me personally. However, this feature seems to work best with the included live center. My 60-degree cone center ends up being ejected much more quickly as it has a longer taper. Let's see the lathe in action, turning a really unbalanced 16-inch piece of black walnut root. first, let me say that I love this lathe. Sure, there are some things I'm still getting used to, but boy, what a night and day difference for me from my old G0462. There are two main reasons I chose this lathe: size and voltage. I have a small shop in a small one-car garage, so space is always a huge consideration. My lathe is the only tool in my shop not on wheels, so the modular design on the Orion with the included bed extension and small footprint were very appealing to me. I can add more length when I need it or keep it small when I don't. Next, my shop only has 110 volts at the moment, and upgrading the electric out here means upgrading and moving the panel in my house, which will likely cost more than this lathe. This machine being dual voltage means it can grow with me as my space does. This was really important to me, as I wanted a lathe that I wasn't going to have to upgrade from again. At 1.75 horsepower with the DVR motor, this lathe has proved to be more than powerful enough on a 110. Overall, this machine is solidly built, has a lot of mass and a small footprint, and is exceedingly versatile. I love that I don't have to mess with belts, and all the settings can be changed with a few presses of a button. The swivel headstock is smooth and easy to realign. I also love having the extra turning capacity in low speeds and high torque to match turning large, unbalanced pieces. My only real complaint is that I haven't had more time to play with it at this point. There's not much to dislike about this lathe, but there are a few nitpicky things that I thought I would address. On startup, the head unit plays a song every time and then makes a warning siren noise to let you know that you have the brake assist engaged. There's no way to turn off or down the startup music, and the only way to turn off the warning siren is to turn off the brake assist, which I don't want to do. Similarly, when you have the lathe set in reverse, the same warning siren plays before starting. Now, I think this is a good feature for the first time you switch into reverse, but when I'm starting and stopping constantly for things like sanding, it can get a little old. I understand these things are there for safety, and I actually really appreciate Technitool's focus on working safely. I just wish I had more control over those features. Then, there were some minor cosmetic issues with the powder coating on the headstock and the banjo. They don't affect function, but it's a little maddening to have a brand new machine have chipping powder coat. Speaking of the banjo, the stock tool rest is really tight fitting and does not adjust up and down as smoothly as I would hope. I have remedied this with some emery cloth and paste wax on the tool post. Lastly, with such a robust machine, having only a 29-inch outboard turning capacity is a little disappointing, particularly considering comparable lathes have 32-inch outboard swings. While the outrigger is not yet available for this lathe, I am really puzzled as to why they didn't decide to make the extra bed extension mountable lower on the headstock side with a tool post extender, considering the headstock can swivel 360 degrees. They have these cast and tap sections on the legs that appear to have no other purpose than for anchoring during shipping. It's a shame that they didn't size them to the same as the cap bolts for the bed extension. I will likely try to fabricate an adapter in the future so I can have a larger outboard turning capacity. I am so happy to have this lathe and really enjoy using it. Sure, there are some things I need to get used to, like pushing buttons, but I think that would have been true of any larger lathe I would have bought. This lathe was perfect for my situation, and I would highly recommend researching this lathe if you have a small space like me with limited power supply options, or even if you just don't want to have to deal with belts. I hope you found this brief walkthrough useful. Let me know what you all think in the comments. I generally don't do a lot of videos where I make you listen to me talk, but if you want more videos like this tool review or tutorials, also let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.